What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another Squadrons video. I hope you're all liking the new game and are getting the hang of how to fly. It's been out for a few days now, so let me know your first impressions in the comments below. Today we've got some news from our devs. They've been answering questions and responding to issues that you guys are reporting after launch. And based on what they're saying, we've got some pretty good updates coming in the near future, so let's check it out. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos on Squadrons. We'll have more news, tips, and gameplay videos on the way. So our creative director, Ian Fraser, and the rest of the community team have been pretty busy this morning answering your guys' questions about Squadrons, and there is some pretty key stuff that they've mentioned so far. First, one of the biggest things players are wondering is if there will be more content coming in the future. Now that we've got our hands on the game and have seen what it has to offer, it's pretty safe to say that it has a lot of potential that can be explored in post-launch content, especially in this day and age of games as a live service. Someone wondered if this might happen, based on the game's sales so far, but Ian said that right now the team is focused on addressing the launch issues, which we'll get into more of in this video since there are a couple. They want to make sure that everyone experiences the game as intended, so it sounds like even if post-launch content was a possibility, they're not even focusing on that right now, which I can appreciate. Next, someone brought up the matchmaking and how a lot of the time it feels really unbalanced and always in favor of one side or the other. Sometimes in multiplayer you'll see one or two pilots in your lobby with a really high level, even if you and everyone else are low-level players, and that just doesn't seem right, especially when one side dominates the other. Apparently though, the matchmaking doesn't take player level into account, based on what Ian is saying here. The matchmaking is purely skill-based, but I don't know if he's talking about the actual skill-based matchmaking system that a lot of shooters have, or if he's just casually saying the game somehow looks at your performance or your KD and win ratio and places you in games based on that. Either way, player level doesn't play a role in matchmaking, so it will be normal to see players with levels either way above or way below yours. He says levels don't necessarily equal skill either, it's more about time spent playing the game. It's possible to be an unskilled player with a high level, or a high-skilled player with a low level. But yeah, a lot of the time the higher levels will be more skilled, especially this early in the game's life. Either way, he follows up by saying that the team is looking into matchmaking to see if there's any balancing that can be done, which is good news. To expand on that a bit, a user out on Reddit made a good suggestion to improve matchmaking, and that's to cut down the wait times before a game starts, from 2 minutes where it's currently at down to 30 seconds. It can be a little frustrating waiting for the game to start with 9 out of 10 people ready to go, but you can't start yet because of that 10th player. It does give you enough time to make any customization choices, but if you're ready to fly, it is a hassle. Our community manager, Jay, said that they're looking at improving matchmaking across the board, and that this wait time suggestion was a good one, so we might see something come of that later on. It would be a small change, but a huge improvement overall, especially to the ranked fleet battles. An issue similar to matchmaking that I think anyone playing fleet battles can relate to is the problem of players leaving the matchmaking, making the game go unscored in the rankings for the players who stay. It's a big problem that not only ruins rankings for the players who stay, it also puts the team who is down a player at a huge disadvantage. The bots are more or less cannon fodder in fleet battles, and they're not much help in a competitive game, so being down 1 or 2 pilots is actually pretty significant. The team is aware of the problem though, and they do agree that it's an issue. They're investigating it right now, so hopefully they'll have a solution in an upcoming patch. After that, we've got some good news for players such as myself who are using a HOTAS, a throttle and stick combo, to play Squadrons. I'm personally a noob when it comes to this type of controller, so I didn't know that this was an issue, but apparently there are some dead zone bugs with the stick, where about a 20% dead zone is applied to it even if your settings have it at 0%. For those of you who don't know what the dead zone is, it's basically the point where the controller starts to give input. The higher the percentage, the more you have to push on the stick before it starts to respond. At 0%, it should move at hardly the slightest touch at all, so the 20% bug is pretty huge if you prefer lower dead zones, since you have to move the stick more than you'd like just to make a slight adjustment. Ian confirms that this was a mistake and there will be a fix for it in the future, and expanding on that, another member of the EA Star Wars community team, Andrew, confirms that there are a few fixes in the works for the HOTAS rigs outside of just the dead zone issue. So that's good news if you use this setup or if you were thinking of getting one for the game. Lastly, we have a bug with the rankings for fleet battles, where players are not being placed in the right ranking. Most players seem to be getting ranked at the lowest level of the Maverick tier, even if they did really well in their first 10 placement matches. Likewise, players who didn't do so well reported being placed into the Galactic Ace tier, so there is definitely something going on with the rankings. But EA Help reached out and has said that they're exploring the issue and they will have more information on it as soon as possible. I think there will be some changes coming to the Fleet Battles mode very soon, no matter what, since apparently some players have already found highly effective mechanics that make winning the match a little bit too easy. I won't share what that tactic is here, but if you're that curious you can always look it up. But I do expect a patch to address that very soon. It's nice to see the dev team responding to feedback quickly. The game had a pretty good launch, even though there are these issues to be fixed. And new content seems to be on everyone's mind, since the game only has 2 multiplayer modes, for now, and a selection of 8 different starfighters. But like Ian said, they want to smooth out the edges a bit before thinking about anything like that. Still, it is good to see that the community is interested in more content. Patches and updates are definitely on the way though. The team seems to be on that, and once they release official patch notes for these fixes, we will have more videos going over them here on the channel. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and definitely be on the lookout for more Squadrons videos this week. We'll have an entire campaign playthrough, tips and tricks, and more as we get more acquainted with the game. That's it from me. I appreciate you all stopping by the bazaar, and I will see you out in the skies. Peace.